Good morning, East Alabama and West Georgia. It is 12:43 a.m. on your Friday, May 12th, 2023. Dr. Don in here with you early on your Friday morning as we have some heavy thunderstorms about to roll into East Alabama and West Georgia. If you're in if you're in Coosa, Tallapoosa County, you already know about it because you've already been rumbled out of bed by thunder this morning. We have nothing severe at the moment, but we do have a special weather statement that has just been issued by the National Weather Service office out of Birmingham, and I will read the text of that special weather statement to you this morning. Strong thunderstorms will impact portions of northeastern Pike, eastern Elmore, western Lee, Bullock, Macon, Tallapoosa, western Chambers, northwestern Barber, southeastern Coosa, and western Russell counties through about 1:15 a.m. this morning. Doppler weather radar is tracking strong thunderstorms extending along a line from Cruzville to near Tallapoosa City to near Banks, moving to the northeast at 30 miles per hour. So that's a special weather statement from the National Weather Service, and we'll put the timing on the screen for you, and we'll give you some specific locations and the time we expect the storms to arrive in those locations. Our town, which is over on Lake Martin, around 12:26, so it's already in that particular area now. And then we are looking at Beehive around 12:45, Lochapoka about 12:46, Jackson's Gap around 12:46, so that's about right now. Same for Dadeville. We're looking at Camp Hill around 12:55, Waverly about 12:57, City of Auburn around 12:58, New Site about 101, Goldville around 103, Budston about 107, Mountain Community up in Clay County at around 109, Oak Bowery about 112, and Daviston around 1:15 a.m. For you folks on over toward maybe Lafayette around 118. And for you folks up here in Randolph County, yes, this stuff will move up into your area as well, probably around 1:30 this morning. We expect those storms to start rolling into the Roanoke area. So we will take this off the screen and then go in a little bit closer for you. Actually, I'm going to start to the north and we'll work our way to the south. Heavy rainfall now around Sylacauga this morning, and then that stretches up to the north between Sylacauga and Talladega. A couple of spots of heavy rainfall now in southwestern Clay County to the southwest of Millerville. And then as we move on down to the south, Weguffka, strong thunderstorm there, stretching back over to around Goodwater. 280 this morning from Sylacauga all the way down to really Waverly, pretty much a washout at the moment. Heavy rainfall in and around Alexander City, lots of thunder and lightning there. Moving into Dadeville, also moving into the Waverly Camp Hill area at this hour. One smaller but heavier cell there just to the southwest of Lafayette and also down there around Casita. Still waters back over to Waverly and then to the south down into western Lee County. Down to Notasulga, very heavy rainfall, and then that stretches on down to the south into Macon and Russell counties, all the way down to around Union Springs, and really continues to the south all the way down to around Clio, down in southern Alabama, back to the southwest of Eufaula, down to around Arrington and Ozark. Then the big picture, we have scattered light to moderate rain with occasional strokes of lightning there along I-65 from Greenville down to Georgiana and all the way back down to Bruton. Scattered thunderstorms right along the Alabama-Georgia state line this morning from Eufaula all the way back up to just south of Columbus. Is what we're looking at. Now, this is what's left over from those strong thunderstorms that moved into West Alabama last evening. They have continued to move across the state, and they're about to move into East Alabama. Now, here's the thing. These storms are moving rather quickly at about 30 miles per hour. So within a couple of hours, we'll have all of this through East Alabama and West Georgia. And then I think, at least for the first part of your Friday, things look pretty good. We could see some more pop-up thunderstorms this afternoon in the heat of the day. But I don't think this is going to hang around all morning or anything like that. I'm probably by about 2 or 3 a.m. this morning, all of this will be completely out of East Alabama and West Georgia. So, again, nothing severe. We have no severe weather warnings in place at this hour. But these are some pretty strong thunderstorms. They're just below severe limits. And because there is a tremendous amount of lightning involved with these storms, we wanted to jump in here with you this morning and give you an update of what's going on with this weather. So a couple of things I want to do. One thing I want to do right quick, I want to jump over to the live camera down at Toomer's Corner, and we'll just stay right here just for a moment and kind of watch this camera and see if we pick up on any lightning. We should see lightning. This camera's looking back to the southwest there at Toomer's Corner. We should be able to pick up some illuminations in the background and see some lightning down there in just a few moments. And then we'll run back over to the radar, and we'll watch this together for the next few minutes or so and kind of see how this storm is going to play out this morning. And while we're watching that, let me jump over in the chat room and say good morning to some of you folks that are watching. Hey, Jimmy Stevens, good to see you in here this morning. Thank you for your support, sir. Bobby Smith, good morning, Bobby. Okay, so we have audio going on. Can you hear me now? Somebody give me a thumbs up if you've got audio, or let me know if you don't hear audio. I see one comment that says no audio. Everybody else. Okay, Brian said no audio, then he said my bad. So maybe audio is good. Okay, all right, thanks, Adam. Hey, good morning, Adam Slay. Mr. Local I Am Sports, Adam Slay. iSchool Sports Network. He's probably either on his way to do some type of sports coverage, or he's on his way back. Dickert, Alabama, probably within, probably 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. We'll see the leading edge move up into southern Randolph County. Now, we've actually got a small cell that's forming just south of Dickert right now, but this line probably take around 30 minutes for it to get up there into southern Randolph County. Good morning, Sharon. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate it. I see the audio is good now. Everything looked good on this end, but when I first turned the computer on this morning, it was acting a little wacky, so it wouldn't have surprised me. Good morning, Beth. Thanks, Jeff. Yep, I just saw a little flash of lightning back to the southwest looking from the Toomer's Corner camera. Buxton, yeah, you got some heavy thunderstorms headed your way. Good morning, Ashland, Alabama. Last thing y'all want's more rain. Ashland recorded just over 5 inches of rain in that storm we had day before yesterday. Places in northwest Chambers County also received a little over 5 inches of rain in that storm. What was that? Wednesday afternoon. Don't think we're looking at that here. This storm system is actually moving. That stuff you had Wednesday was just sitting on top of you for several hours. The storms this morning are actually moving to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. So we're not anticipating any total rainfall amounts approaching anything like what you saw on Wednesday. But half inch to 3/4 of an inch as this storm system moves through your area is certainly plausible. Again, if you're just waking up this morning, the National Weather Service has issued a special weather statement for a large chunk of East Alabama to include portions of Tallapoosa, Chambers, and Lee in East Alabama. It also continues on to the south down across Russell and Macon counties. And we're probably going to get an extension of that here any moment. That'll probably pick up parts of Clay, Randolph, all of Chambers, and it may actually get some of our West Georgia counties as well. Again, a special weather statement means that we have strong storms, but they're below severe limits. Wind gusts are below 58 miles per hour. Any hail that may be falling from these storms will be less than 1 inch in diameter. Those are the two main criteria. You got to have wind stronger than 58 miles per hour and hail larger than 1 inch to draw a severe thunderstorm warning. So these storms are just below those limits, so they issue what's called a special weather statement to get your attention on these storms. Let me kind of look at some of the hail markers here. That's a hail marker just to the east of Alexander City, calling for a 50% chance that there's hail in that storm. None of it is severe. Probably looking, if there's hail there, we're probably looking at marble to mothball-sized hail. Then we have another marker down in western Lee County. Again, that's a 50% chance, and that also would be marble to mothball-sized hail. They're just north of Notasulga, and then just north of Tuskegee, the same thing. So if there is hail in this line of thunderstorms, most likely it is small in nature. 10% marker there just south of Sylacauga, right there on 280, and that would be marble-sized hail as well. So there you go. That's what we're looking at this morning. I'll see if we can get stand by a second. Look at a couple of things here. Timing back on the line for you there so you can kind of pick out where you are, and that'll give you a general idea of what time it will be in your area. We're looking at Auburn around 12:58, New Site around 101, Hurtsboro around 103, Goldville about 103, Buxton around 107. Mountain Community there in southeastern Clay County at 109 this morning. Oak Bowery around 112 and Daviston about 115. Probably looking at the northern extent of that is going to make it up into Randolph County. So probably around 1 or 105 in the Wadley area. 115-ish in the Roanoke area. So probably about 15, 20 minutes away from Roanoke. Lafayette area probably around the same time. No, this is not tornadic. We're talking about gusty winds of 25, 30 miles per hour, lots of lightning. The big thing here is going to be the lightning this morning. Brief torrential rainfall, small hail, a lot of lightning, and winds, gusty winds 25, 30 miles per hour. So far, we're seeing nothing that is an indication of tornadoes in this. And we don't have that type of setup this morning, so that's not really a major concern. Oxford at this hour looking pretty good. I mean, we've got some showers moving in up there, but nothing severe. Just a few rumbles of thunder in the Anniston-Oxford area and some moderate to occasionally heavy rain moving into the Anniston-Oxford area. I wouldn't say a lot of hail. There is some embedded here, but I don't see a lot of hail. A couple of little small pockets in this line that may be producing hail, and the algorithm tells us we're talking about marble to dime, penny-size hail, where the hail is occurring. Good morning, Tracy and Dickert. West Point, Georgia in the house. Good morning, Nan. Fredonia. Hey, Bobby. Yeah, same thing for Fredonia. We're talking gusty winds and a lot of thunder and lightning. I mean, it's going to wake everybody up. I know a lot of you probably are tuning in this morning because you're hearing thunder and lightning out there, or hearing thunder and seeing lightning. Yeah, Crystal, the thunder or lightning has been pretty intense in the last couple of storms, and there's a reason for that. It's because these storms have been really good rain producers, and that's what causes thunder and lightning is you get the friction of the water droplets in the upper levels of the atmosphere, and it causes friction, and then that has to be released, and that's where lightning comes from. And of course, thunder's the sound of lightning. And these last couple of rounds of storms, the atmosphere has been very, very juicy because of all the tropical air that's kind of hanging around. The humidity that's hanging around has allowed these storms to be very proficient in their rain production. And so that's what led to the high lightning output in these storms the last couple of days, and this morning's event is going to be no exception. A lot of lightning involved in this line of thunderstorms. I mean, it's nothing out of the ordinary. I'll just zoom in just on this piece coming up into southwestern Chambers County. Yeah, we're looking at about somewhere around 40 strokes of lightning in the past 3 minutes on the shot that you're looking at on the screen. Now, that includes all of Tallapoosa down into Lee and southwest Chambers. And we're looking at about 35 maybe lightning strikes in the last 3 minutes or so. So the leading edge of this now, moving on into southwestern Chambers, it's moving into the Auburn Opelika. Let's go back over to the Tumors camera, and you can see the ground is wet there, so it is beginning to rain there in Auburn. We actually have students out this time of morning. I guess that's pretty common, regardless of the day of the week, on a college campus. Did just see some lightning off in the distance. So, and you can see the trees. You can see the trees in the background. They are swaying in the wind. Hey, Remy Martin. Yeah, no, we're not looking at anything severe for Casita. We're talking about this is just basically a good old summertime thunderstorm that's about to roll through. It's not severe. We do have a special weather statement in place, and I'm going to say that primarily that special weather statement is going to be because there is a chance of some small hail and brief torrential rainfall and a little gusty wind on the front side of all of this, and a lot of lightning. But this is not going to be a major severe weather event for any of our areas across East Alabama or West Georgia. I mean, you're watching the camera there from Toomer's Corner, and that's a very good example of what you can expect when this line of storms moves through your area, if it hasn't already this morning. Places like Lafayette, Casita, Lynette, Valley, Opelika, Smith Station, even on over into Georgia, places like LaGrange. This storm hasn't gotten to you just yet, and what you're looking at there on the Toomer's Corner cameras, what you can expect, that's what's coming in your general direction. And as you can see, it doesn't look that bad. There's an occasional stroke of lightning. Looks like the trees are swaying a bit in the wind, so yeah, it's going to be a little gusty, especially on the front side of this storm. And even in Auburn at the moment, the rain is not that intense, but now I'll caution you, the really heavy stuff hasn't made it to this camera site just yet. We'll zoom in. Let me switch back to the radar, and I'll show you. This is Auburn, and the really heavy stuff in Lee County is still off to the west between Auburn and Lochapoka out there on Wire Road or Highway 14, just to the southeast of Lochapoka. And there may be a little hail pocket right there. That's all moving toward downtown Auburn. So the rain just making it to the camera there in downtown Auburn. So we're going to kind of watch this shot to get a good idea of what this storm is going to look like as it moves through the downtown Auburn area. Josh is asking questions about the colors of the radar. Red is bad. That's always remember. Well, I say bad. Red means heavy precipitation. Doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. Typically does mean that's where the stronger parts of the storm is. But all the red means is that's where the density is its strongest on the radar returns. That means that's where the heaviest precipitation is taking place. So the darker the colors, the heavier the precipitation is. And then when you get into the pinks, purples, blues, and whites, and even black, then that's really when you want to start raising your eyebrow, because that's probably getting into hail. And it depends on which radar product you're looking at. This is the reflectivity. So this is just basically showing you where the rain is and how strong the rain is. Green is very light, yellow is moderate, red is heavy, and then, like I said, when you get into the pinks and blues and purples, that typically means or is a good indication of hail. Then you'll often hear the weather folks say, let's take a look at the velocity product. They'll switch over to the velocity, that's wind. And what you're looking for here, when you're in a tornado setup, would be for reds and greens touching one another. Now, I know we have reds and greens touching one another on this shot that you're looking at on the radar right here. This is the velocity product. We're not in a tornadic setup this morning. And understand all of the reds that are touching the greens, it's very broad. All thunderstorms rotate to some degree, or they wouldn't be a thunderstorm. What you look for would be something that looks similar to this just below Gold Hill. If we were in a tornadic type setup this morning, I might be a little concerned about that right there that's moving across 280 just south of Gold Hill. But because we know this morning we don't have any, we don't have the ingredients that we really need for tornadic activity, I'm not concerned about that. So that's the velocity product. So reds and greens touching one another on velocity is something you look for when you're looking at that particular output from the radar. But when you go back to the reflectivity, greens, light rain, yellow, moderate, red, heavy, and then you see those purples right there. That's where you could have some hail falling this morning. Again, that's kind of showing you the progression of the rain, the heavier rains moving into downtown Auburn. As I zoom out, you can see that we're beginning to get some rain over there on the southwestern side of Chambers County, approaching Lafayette, getting on up now into northeastern Tallapoosa. We've got rain at New Site, about to move into Daviston. And then we're seeing rain move up into southern Clay County as well, basically from Sylacauga over in Talladega, back over to around Millerville, and just south of Gibsonville, coming up on Mountain Community. Wadley from probably southern Union back to the Clay County line. We've got rain breaking out there. The heavier stuff is still south of Daviston, but that will rotate up into Randolph County as well. So, Wadley, you've got some rain coming. Roanoke, you're going to get some of this as well. This is going to move through all of East Alabama and West Georgia this morning. Now, I know the bike hike warm-up is set this morning at Eagle 102 out on 431 North, just north of Roanoke, to support the Randolph County Learning Center's 48th annual bike hike, and I think all of this is gone by the time bike hike starts this morning at around 7 a.m. I mean, there could be a lingering shower because you'll see, if you look back to the southwest, the back edge of this stretches all the way back into central Alabama. So there could be a lingering sprinkle by the time bike hike starts this morning, but I really think you're going to end up with some pretty decent weather this morning for the bike hike warm-up at Eagle 102. I think it'll be cool. It's not going to be blazing hot. It'll be cloudy. And then that thing is over by about 1 o'clock this afternoon. And then probably after 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon, we could see some more big thunderstorms that, pop-up thunderstorms, summertime afternoon thunderstorms. So I'm thinking this may work out pretty good for this morning's bike hike out at Eagle 102. And don't forget, while we're talking about the Randolph County Learning Center, the actual bike hike itself is next Saturday, May 20th at the Roanoke Rec Center. And I'll be there. The Dr. Don Rhodes Show will be at the Rec Center next Saturday. And we're going to be giving away one of those NOAA weather radios, and I'll program it for you. So make your plans to come by and hang out with us Saturday, May 20th at the Roanoke Rec Center in Roanoke, Alabama for the 48th annual Randolph County Learning Center bike hike. Thank you, Robbie. I appreciate your kind words. Yeah, West Point, Miss Gina, you got a lot of thunderstorms headed your way. Nothing severe. I mean, we don't see anything severe for any place, any location across East Alabama or West Georgia. We're looking at gusty winds, 25, 30 miles per hour. We're talking about brief, heavy rainfall, lots of thunder and lightning, no question about that, and maybe some small hail. But this is not a tornado setup. This is not a widespread severe weather outbreak. This is a leftover front that moved out of Mississippi into Alabama um, shortly after sunset yesterday. And this is what's left of that. Now, it was severe when it came through Mississippi yesterday afternoon, but it's not severe this morning. So if you're anywhere across East Alabama or West Georgia, that's pretty much what you can expect. Lightning approaching steel fab, Roanoke, Alabama. Boy, we sure would love to have Steel Fab on as a partner. Talk to you, boss. Thank you, Sharon. I used to know all those folks out at Steel Fab back when, Lord have mercy, I can remember groundbreaking ceremonies for Steel Fab. Adam, if you're still on here, you're shaking your head. My goodness, that was a long time ago, but it seemed like it was just yesterday. Remember it well. That was big doings in Roanoke, Alabama. They have been great. They have been great for the Randolph County area over the years, for sure. Employed a lot of folks. And Adam's mama had a lot to do with those folks being there, too. Young folks don't know what I'm talking about, but your older ones do. All right, so the heavier stuff now pushing up into southern Clay, coming right up the stair step. That's the county line between Talladega and Clay. Heavier rain showers now up in Talladega. Stretching back over into south central Clay County, just south of Ashland. And then all the way back over to southeastern Clay. And the heavy stuff about to move up into southwestern Randolph. Northeastern Tallapoosa. Let's take a look at that little cell right there just west of Lafayette to the south of Marcoot. That's probably got some hail in it. I don't have a hail marker on it just yet, but that looks suspicious. I'd still say that's probably marble to dime size hail, though, if indeed that's what we're looking at. Yeah, it's gonna rotate on off to the northeast. Well, actually, that next volume scan, it's gone. You can see little bitty small pockets of purple there. So there still could be some hail in there, but that larger area disappeared on that last scan that we just received. But heavier rains moving into Lafayette, down here around Tiger Corner, Oak Bowery. Let's go back and take a look at Tumors. Yeah, again, this is indicative of what you can expect when the storms move into your area this morning, if they haven't already. Nothing severe, just a good old thunderstorms. Matter of fact, we have lost our special weather statement that was in effect. The National Weather Service has allowed that to expire and doesn't look like they're going to reissue it. Yeah, that expired about 2 minutes ago at 1:15. I'm looking at National Weather Service out of Atlanta. I'm looking at their chat room page just to see if they're giving any indications on whether or not they're going to issue anything on this line as it gets closer to the Georgia state line, and they haven't said one word about it. So that's telling me they probably are not going to issue anything on it. Yeah, looking at the camera, you see the trees in the background are swaying a bit. The rain really doesn't look to be anything out of the ordinary. I mean, it's definitely raining, and there's an occasional uh, lightning strike, but I don't see. Looks like the winds are behaving fairly well. Um, Everything looks pretty good there, Tiger's Corner, Toomer's Corner, excuse me. Tiger's Corner a little north of here. Let me switch you back over to the radar question about timing for Woodland. Well, we've lost our storm marker too, so let me see if I can give you a ballpark figure. Probably another 15, 20 minutes before the leading edge of it gets up into Woodland. But I've noticed the lightning output has really diminished. The loop you're looking at right now starts at 12. Hold on. All right, so we start here at 12:34, and you'll notice over here on the left-hand side of the screen, I know it's hard to see if you're watching us on a phone, but over on the left-hand side of the screen at 12:34, we had 66 lightning strikes within a 3-minute time frame. All right, we'll take this forward to about 12:45. We go to 70 strikes. Then we'll come up here to about 1 a.m. We drop down to 41 strikes. Then we'll take you out to about 1:10. 60 strikes, so it's kind of fluctuating. And we go current, it's at 14 strikes. So we go from 60 strikes. Actually, there's a 70 at 110 or 60. Rock that. Yeah, there was a 67 in there. 69 right there. At 112, down to 11 strikes at 121. So there's your indication that this storm is weakening. The lightning output has really backed off just in the last 10 minutes. And that's because the rain intensity is backing off, so is the lightning output. We don't see nearly as many hail markers along the leading edge of that line either. And the Weather Service is not going to reissue the special weather statement that was in effect. So all these are indications that the storm is losing intensity as it moves off to the east, and that stands to reason. It should be. We're in the coolest part of the day. The storms are moving into the Chattahoochee Valley region of East Alabama and West Georgia, where temperatures are typically a couple of 2 or 3 degrees cooler than any other locations in this area. So everything is working toward seeing these storms calm down a little bit this morning. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to put the radar back in motion. And I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to take a quick break and go replenish the coffee cup, and then I'll come back and we'll ride with you on this until we at least get this through the Roanoke area. So if you're up all night with me and you're just kind of hanging out with me, we will, I'll be right back with you in just a few minutes. So y'all hang in there with us. Live severe weather coverage continues on Dr. Don's Weather. Check. Good morning, East Alabama and West Georgia. For those of you who are still in here with us this morning or just now joining us, we're on the air with you this morning, giving you some weather information here. We have some pretty big thunderstorms moving into East Alabama and West Georgia. They are all below severe limits. When we came on the air with you, I don't know, about an hour ago, we did have a special weather statement that was in effect for portions of East Alabama. The Weather Service has since allowed that to expire, and they have not reissued it. And we have also noticed our lightning output in these storms has come down somewhat in the last hour or so. And so that, plus the fact that they did not reissue the special weather statement, tells us that these storms are calming down a little bit. They're not as strong as they were about an hour ago. But nonetheless, still some thunder and lightning as these storms move into East Alabama and West Georgia. The storm front just recently moved through the Auburn-Opelika area. And looking at the Toomer's Corner camera this morning, you can see that things are calming down pretty good there at Toomer's Corner. The streets are wet. The trees don't seem to be blowing in the wind anymore. Not seeing any lightning in the background. So, I just about the time I said that, we got a strike of lightning right there. So we do still have lightning in the area this morning down in Auburn. But, it just looks like a typical summertime thunderstorm taking place there in the Auburn-Opelika area. The heaviest part of the storm is clearing the Auburn area right now, moving into Opelika, so things should be improving in the Auburn area in the next few minutes or so. But if you're in East Alabama, we'll start at the top of the order and work our way to the south. Up there on I-20, we have just a few small scattered cells moving across I-20 there in Cleburne County, back over toward Anniston and Oxford. And then some thunder and lightning over around Talladega this morning. Supermoto Speedway getting wet at this hour. As we move to the south, that line of storms moving up into central Clay County. Places like Ashland, Lineville getting the rain now, right along Highway 48. Heavy rain shower over Lake Wedowee from Wadley all the way up to Highway 48. That's moving to the north and will continue to move into the Wedowee area. And then a little bit of a larger area there in extreme northwestern Chambers County with one embedded heavier cell that may be producing some small hail. We'll stop that radar loop right there. This would be just to the northeast of downtown Milltown out there on Highway 77. And we could have some small hail occurring right there. It would probably be pea-sized hail, maybe marble-sized, as that continues moving to the north. That latest volume scan update showing that hail may be occurring there around Dickard on Highway 22. Between Wadley and Roanoke and southern Randolph, and then stretching back down to the southeast to near the Doublehead community in extreme northern Chambers and southern Randolph County. But most of that's just heavy rainfall, and in that frame, we're only looking at 2 lightning strikes in the last 3 minutes. So the lightning output has really subsided in the last 30 minutes across this region. But as we work our way on down to the south, you see that heavy rain encompasses all of Highway 77 from Abanda down to Milltown to Pennon, back over toward 5 Points, White Plains, down into the Buffalo area. A couple of strokes of lightning there near Buffalo, back over toward Marcoot, and then down to Lafayette, and then Highway 50 from Lafayette all the way back over to Lynette. A lot of rain out there this morning. As we move on down to the south, a big area of heavy rain from Casita back up to probably Hughley. About to move into Lynette and Valley. That's moving to the north, so I-85 about to be pretty wet. And then as we get down into Lee County, Roanoke Junction, Opelika, down to Beauregard, and then a heavier cell right there in extreme southern Lee County to the southwest of Smith Station. There's a hail marker there. Now this one is showing we may have 3/4 inch hail in this particular storm, so that would be around nickel size. hail there in extreme southern Lee County, just north of Highway 80 this morning. Zoom back out to kind of give you an overall look at this. And all of this is moving off, and we put it in motion to the northeast at around 30 miles per hour this morning. And the back edge of it's already clearing central Alabama. So within the next couple of hours, all of this moves out of East Alabama, well on over into Georgia. And I think by the time the sun comes up in East Alabama, you're going to have a pretty decent Friday morning. I know that the folks who organize the Randolph Randolph County Learning Center bike hike. The big warm-up is today on the front lawn of Eagle 102 up in Roanoke. And I know if any of those folks are watching this morning, they're a little nervous right now. But I got to tell you, I really believe that all of this is done by the time bike hike starts this morning at around 7 a.m., bike hike warm-up at around 7 a.m. out at Eagle 102, and I think you've got a pretty decent Friday morning for bike hike weather. We may see more storms form this afternoon in the heat of the day, but that'll be well after you finish your event today, probably after 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon before we see any more storms across East Alabama or West Georgia. So all in all, this is working out pretty good for today's bike hike warm-up at Eagle 102. The actual bike hike itself will take place next Saturday, May 20th, at the Roanoke Rec Center in Roanoke. And I'll be there. The Dr. Don Road Show will be at the bike hike, and we're going to be giving away a NOAA weather radio. And I think I've still got some T-shirts I'll be handing out as well, some Dr. Don T-shirts. So hope that you make your plans to come by and visit with us Saturday, May 20th at the Roanoke Rec Center in Roanoke, Alabama, as we celebrate the Randolph County Learning Center. Been doing that with Robin and Cindy in some shape, form, or fashion since 1992. It's been a long time. And I look forward to this year as well. So make your plans to come by and join us. Thanks for that report, Leah. Yeah, I that's what I've been telling you. This is not a big deal. The big deal, the biggest deal of all this morning is the thunder and lightning. And I know it's waking people up, and you're looking for weather information, and that's why I'm here, to tell you that these storms moving in this morning are not going to be a big deal. It's just general scattered thunderstorms, nothing much more than a good old summertime afternoon thunderstorm, except we're experiencing it in the wee hours of the morning as this line of storms move through. Nothing tornadic. We're not looking at any severe weather. We're not looking at anything that's really dangerous. I mean, obviously, if you're going to be on the roadways, you have to be careful because there's a lot of water out there. But we're not looking at a big severe weather setup here. We're just talking about a line of thunderstorms moving through East Alabama and West Georgia this morning. And because I have some type of weird thing that goes on with me where I cannot sleep if I know you guys are dealing with weather down there. So I have to be up. Otherwise, I'd be in the bed asleep. So that's why I'm hanging here with you this morning. Thank you, Leah. Appreciate your comments this morning. Appreciate all of you hanging out with us on your Friday morning. Most normal people would be in the bed asleep. Let's go in close on Randolph, beginning to see a couple of areas where we may have some small hail taking place. One of them is just to the west of Crystal Lake, between Broughton Ridge and Crystal Lake. County Road 65. County Road 822. County Road 26, right there at 65 and 26 intersection. We may have some small hail taking place right now. And then there's another small area northeast of Malone. County Road 333, County Road 893, County Road 809. That particular area, we may have some small hail there as well. So the rain in Randolph County, it's been raining over Lake Wedowee now for about 15-20 minutes, about to move into downtown Wedowee. Roanoke, you've got rain moving in from the southwest, Highway 22 from downtown Roanoke all the way to Wadley. Pretty wet this morning. And then that stretches on down into Chambers County. Lots of rainfall now covering all of northern Chambers County for the most part. Down there at the East Alabama Bee Company in 5 Points, we've got rain occurring. That stretches down to Fredonia and then comes down the eastern side of Chambers all the way down to West Point and Lynette. About to move over the Kia plant up there at West Point. But again, nothing severe this morning. We have no weather watches, warnings, or special weather statements in effect at this hour. We did have a special weather statement about an hour and 15 minutes ago, and that was the main reason we came on to give you some coverage, but that has since expired, and the Weather Service has not reissued it. And it does not look like they're going to. Doesn't look like Atlanta's going to do anything with it either. And we already see the backside of all of this beginning to move into the eastern sections of East Alabama. So the back edge of the rain shield, I'm drawing the line on the screen for you. That's the back edge of the rain. I mean, there could be some sprinkles beyond that, but for the most part, that's the back edge of the rainfall this morning, and it's moving in this direction at about 30 miles per hour this morning. So that's a couple of hours, so probably by 4 a.m. This morning anyway, if not sooner, then I think the back edge of all this will be moving through East Alabama into West Georgia. And probably by 5 or 6 a.m., by the time the sun comes up, all this stuff should be well over into central Georgia. And I think we're looking at a pretty decent Friday morning. This is coming through in the wee hours of the morning, so it's really cooling off the atmosphere. It's taking care of any residual heat that was still in place during the overnight. So when we start our Friday morning as the sun comes up, we're going to start with a clean slate. And it will take most of the day to heat that atmosphere up enough to get pop-up thunderstorms. And that would be probably after 3 p.m. this afternoon before we start to see any of those. Fort Worth, Texas. Well, let's see here. I'm telling you now, we can do some weather forecasting for just about any part in this world. Give me just a second, and I will give you the weather forecast for Fort Worth, Texas. So the forecast for today for Fort Worth, Texas is a 30% chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Now, there is a chance of severe weather out there around Fort Worth today. The Dallas-Fort Worth area, about a 30% chance of showers, and some of those storms could be severe. It's going to be hot, high temperature around 87. Then a 50% chance of thunderstorms tonight with a low of around 70. Then for the weekend, Saturday, 80% chance of thunderstorms, 82. And on Sunday, a 70% chance of thunderstorms, 81. So it looks stormy in the Dallas-Fort Worth area over the weekend and rather warm with temperatures in the 80s all the way through Sunday. So there you go. Weather forecast for Fort Worth, Texas. Yes, Sharon, you're safe to go to bed. I mean, this never was a severe weather setup. So, I mean, but you're clear. I mean, you got some light, maybe a little moderate rain out there in Alexander City right now, but, you know, and you're probably still hearing an occasional rumble of thunder, but you're good. The back edge of the rain is over in central Coosa County, so another 30 minutes and the rain will be completely done in Alexander City. Well, thank you, Veronica. I appreciate that. All right, so what do we got here? 148. We're probably going to take this for about another 5 minutes or so. Then we're going to wrap this thing up. For you folks in Roanoke, the heavy rain just now moving in to downtown Roanoke. And, yeah, I mean, lightning has just really almost completely quit. And we're looking at, what was that? 5 strikes, 5 strokes of lightning on the frame you're looking at in the last 3 minutes. And we're looking at most of Randolph, Chambers, Tallapoosa, and Clay. And we've only had 5 strokes of lightning in the last 3 minutes. That's way down from what it was about an hour and 15 minutes ago. So this thing falling apart as it moves through East Alabama and West Georgia. And as you can see, it's the line of thunderstorms stretching now from just north of Anniston back down to about Rock Mills in Randolph County. We're talking the leading edge. And then over to around West Point Lake in Troup County, down to Lynette and Valley, down toward Lake Harding, and then on right down the Alabama-Georgia state line to Columbus. And then it continues south right along the Alabama-Georgia state line down to around Abbeville, down in the Wiregrass area with a few scattered thunderstorms down in Dothan, down toward Marianna, Florida. And then it stretches back to around Andalusia. Basically, the back edge of it now is clearing I-65 up to Montgomery. And then the back edge moves up through Elmore County, central Coosa, then up into Talladega. And then to the north, up into Cherokee County, and then on up to around Fort Payne. And then you look back to the west, there's really not a whole lot happening. Back in West Alabama, we've got a few scattered thunderstorms in extreme northern Mississippi and North Alabama, which should stay north of I-20 through the morning hours. But we don't see anything back in Mississippi or West Alabama that would affect East Alabama during the morning hours of Friday. Now, we probably will have some afternoon pop-up storms when we get into the heat of the day, but with all of these storms coming through this morning, it's raking over the atmosphere pretty good. It's cooling things off considerably, so it'll take most of the day for the atmosphere to recover and to get big thunderstorms going again later on this afternoon, if they develop at all today. That's the $64 million question this morning. We may not see any development at all. Let me look. At something right quick before we wrap up our coverage this morning. So yeah, we're looking. I mean, they're giving us a 30% chance of rain throughout most of today, and then that's increasing to 60% this afternoon. I really don't see the 30% chance. But, with it as humid as it is, even though this is going to calm that down a little bit, as humid as it is, there's always a 20 to 30% chance you could have a storm at any time. Let me look at one other thing right here. Yeah, so the rain chances just take a nosedive around 4 a.m. this morning, which stands to reason. Our front's moving out by that time. And then we stay in, a 20 to 30% chance of rain starting at 4 a.m. this morning, really all the way out until 1 o'clock this afternoon. And then we jump back up into the 50 to 60% category at 1 o'clock this afternoon, and that's valid through about 6 p.m. this evening. And then we drop back into the 10, 15, 20% chance of rain after about 7 o'clock tonight. So, that's plausible. I think that's a pretty good forecast. If we were to get a shower Friday morning or even into early Friday afternoon, it would be an anomaly. And then the better chances would be after about 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon. When we get back into the heating of the day, we could have a few storms pop back up. So, again, we're really paying real close attention to this because there's a big event planned today at the Eagle 102 radio station studios in Roanoke up here on Highway 431 North, the Randolph County Learning Centers. Their big annual fundraising event to support the Randolph County Learning Center. And so the warm-up is scheduled to take place today. And I know there was some concern about the weather for today, and I know that they have already decided to cancel a couple of events in association with the warm-up, but the warm-up itself is going to take place. I think they made the decision yesterday to cancel the walk from Wedowee Hospital down to Roanoke because there was a chance of lightning. I think they canceled the lunch, and I don't think they're going to have any outdoor entertainment because they were afraid that a thunderstorm could pop up during that and it wouldn't be safe. But I got to tell you, moving this stuff out of here this morning, I think by the time warm-up starts this morning at 7 a.m., all of this is out of here. And I think you got a pretty decent Friday morning for bike hike. That generally runs until 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I think, I'm willing to even go so far as to say you may make it through the entire event without any rain whatsoever. And then if we do have more storms today, I think it'll be after 3, 4 o'clock this afternoon before we see that. I know that's hard to believe at the moment because it's thundering and lightning and raining pretty hard in Roanoke at the moment. But I think it's all out of here before sunrise this morning. I think you're good for the remainder of the day. Should not have any wind problems around Rock Mills this morning. This is not a severe weather setup. We don't have any watches or warnings. I mean, you could have a 15, 20 mile per hour wind gust there in the Rock Mills area, but nothing severe. We have no severe weather advisories out there this morning. And pretty much what you're seeing right now in Rock Mills is what you're going to get. You're probably you're in the height of it right now, and you're probably scratching your head because there ain't nothing happening other than it's raining, and you're hearing a rumble of thunder every now and then. But what you see outside right now is what you're going to get in Rock Mills. Now, I don't know what super strong means. Summer is reporting super strong winds in Roanoke. I've just looked at all the gauges around Randolph County, and I don't see anything over 10 miles per hour. Um, so I'm not sure what super strong winds really is. To me, super strong winds is 30, 40, 50 miles per hour, and you're not getting anything even remotely close to that. Just hang with me here. I'm going to look at a couple of things. I mean, I'm looking at two different gauges right now showing calm winds, not showing anything at all. Let me check a couple of other places. All right, so our wind gauge down at 5 points is showing wind out of the west southwest at 3, gusting to 10. Yep, that's what I'm saying. You're probably not seeing wind gusts much more than 10 to 15 miles per hour. And in the grand scheme of things, 10 to 15 miles per hour is not very strong. Yeah, I'm just looking at several different wind gauges around Roanoke, Rock Mills, Bacon Level. They're all, most of them are showing calm winds, but some are showing winds like 4, 5, 6 miles per hour with gusts at around 10, 11, 12 miles per hour. The strongest wind gust I can find is 14 miles per hour. Hey, Liz. Yeah, I mean, this is left over from that mesoscale system that moved out of Mississippi. If you were watching the weather yesterday, they had a pretty significant thunderstorm complex that moved through Mississippi late yesterday afternoon, moved into West Alabama about sunset last night, and this is what's left of that. I didn't really think it would hold together across the state of Alabama either, but it did, and this is what's left of it, and it is well below severe limits this morning. The only reason I'm here is because about an hour and a half ago, all my bells and whistles went off because the Weather Service did issue a special weather statement for this line of storms as it was moving into Chambers and Lee. So I got up and decided to go ahead and do some live coverage because there was a tremendous amount of lightning involved in all of this, and I knew it was going to wake all you guys up and you're going to be asking questions. So that's why I decided to go ahead and go live. But since that time, the Weather Service has allowed that special weather statement to expire. They have not reissued anything, and we have noticed the lightning output really decreased tremendously over the past hour, hour and a half. And now we're just looking at, I mean, seriously, not much more than just a Average summertime afternoon thunder shower. I wouldn't even classify this as a thunderstorm. This is more just like a rumble of thunder and some rainfall and maybe a little breezy at times. And honestly, it's about to move completely out of Alabama into West Georgia, and then you just got some light to moderate rain showers behind it for about another hour or so. And by the time the sun comes up this morning, another couple of hours, another 2 or 3 hours, we're probably looking at a very nice Friday morning. It may be cloudy, but I will be shocked if we see any rain during the daylight hours of Friday morning. I'm not saying it can't happen. I just don't see it. We've got this activity that's moving through this morning is really cooling off the atmosphere. So it'll take most of the day to get things boiling again. It'll probably be, if I had to guess, I would say after 3 p.m. this afternoon before we start to see any more thunderstorm possibilities across East Alabama and West Georgia. I'm not sure it happens at all today. This may take care of the rest of the day once we get this stuff out of here. Oh, I get it, Liz, and that's another reason why I decided to crawl out of bed and do this morning because, I mean, there's several locations across East Alabama and West Georgia that have not been very fortunate in the weather department over the last couple of 2 or 3 years. I mean, we had the Fredonia tornadoes. We had the Wadley Corinth tornado a couple of years ago. We've had the tornado that hit Franklin and up in Newnan, up in Coweta County. We've had the damage down there from the tornado most recently in the West Point area, back over toward Pine Mountain. I get it. There have been several locations around East Alabama and West Georgia that's dealt with tornadic weather over the last 2 to 3 years. And that's our main focus. That's why we do what we do here at Dr. Don's Weather, because East Alabama and West Georgia is somewhat left behind when it comes to wall-to-wall television severe weather coverage. I'm originally from Randolph County, Alabama. Spent 22 years of my professional career on broadcast radio there in the Roanoke and LaGrange area. So I know the area like the back of my hand. I know a lot of folks down there, still have family that lives in that area. So I'm going to be watching it anyway. So why not share with everybody? And with modern technology the way it is and the support of the fine folks you see on the screen that are our partners, we're able to do this, Liz. And so I appreciate you acknowledging that. And as long as you guys continue to support us and help give us the tools that we need to give you the coverage that you deserve across East Alabama and West Georgia, and as long as the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise, I'll be here with you. Thank you, Rhonda. Yeah, I do have a full-time job on top of all of this, which I'll be getting in the shower here in about another hour and getting ready to go do that full-time job. I am in emergency management, public safety, 911 up in northeast Georgia, and got a full day planned. All right, folks, we're fixing to wrap this up. Let me just kind of summarize one more time before we dip out of here. If you're just joining us this morning, some of you getting shook out of bed this morning with thunder and lightning, but trust me, it's nothing like it was a couple of hours ago. We had some big thunderstorms moving up into East Alabama that was putting out a lot of lightning. But that has really calmed down in the last hour and 15 minutes. So really what's left now is just general scattered thunder showers moving up into East Alabama, about to cross over into Georgia. As a matter of fact, on the southern end of the line, it already has. But where you see the red, that's heavy rainfall. Then with an occasional stroke of lightning, we have no severe weather watches or warnings in place this morning. Do not anticipate any. This line is much stronger from Columbus south, right along the Alabama-Georgia state line, there along the Chattahoochee River. Much more lightning down here in the Columbus area and points south than we're seeing up in East Alabama. Then you'll see right there just east of Eufaula over in Georgia, just a lot of lightning right there. We're talking over 100 strikes in the last 3 minutes or so in that particular shot right there. But all of that's moving up to the northeast, and that will not affect East Alabama or West Georgia. Things are improving in the Auburn-Opelika area. You got some more rain back down around Montgomery that'll be coming right up I-85, so another couple of hours before we see the end of this across the Auburn-Opelika area. Probably another hour and 30 minutes before we get the rain completely out of East Alabama into central Georgia. And then up there around Anniston, we see some thunder and lightning taking place there too, but nothing severe. I really believe that by the time the sun comes up this morning, all of this stuff will be well over into central Georgia. And we're probably looking at a pretty decent Friday morning across East Alabama for the 48th annual Randolph County Learning Center Bike Hike Warm-Up, which will take place starting at around 7 a.m. this morning, 8 a.m., out on the front lawn of Eagle 102. I know there's some confusion going on because they did make the decision yesterday afternoon to cancel some of the events associated with the Bike Hike Warm-Up, but the warm-up itself is still a go. And I think that was a good move because honestly, once we get all of this out of here this morning, I think most of your Friday is going to be pretty decent weather-wise. If we have any more thunderstorms today, I believe it will be well after 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon before the atmosphere can recover enough from this morning's cooling rain to start to produce more showers and thunderstorms. So that's kind of the way we see it this morning. With that, I will bid you a pleasant Friday morning, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. We'll see you back in here a little later this morning with your primetime forecast, and I'll certainly catch you back in here late this afternoon or tonight if we were to have more heavy thunderstorms across East Alabama and West Georgia. Thank you for joining us this morning for our weather coverage.